Hey guys, how's it going? Right, we're getting back into this thing again. I'm sick of it sitting here. Heap of stuff's going on at the moment, like lots of stuff. Things are changing, things are going on. Pretty sure we got this sorted, all the issues with the bottom end. Most of them were my fault. Well, no, I won't lie, they were all my fault. Yeah, so that's underway, so we'll fiddle with that a bit today, as long as the weather holds out. I don't know if you can sort of... We've had rain just rolling over the hills there and just drenching us every, I don't know, hour probably, maybe a bit more. So yeah, I've just been fiddling with that in between the showers. I don't really have a mass amount of time left today, but we can make a start on putting the motor back together, and we might get a bit done. We'll just see. If you notice that thing there, yeah, don't worry about that. You'll hear about that later. Back to this. Actually, I'll stand in front of the heater, keep myself warm. It's really not warm here. She's nice and damp and wet. I think it's, I don't know, probably 7 degrees Celsius. So not ridiculous, but still not pleasant. Alright, so the crank is in, it can stay in, connecting rods are all done, all that jargon. We've just got to put the sump on. Now, the issue, because there was 2 issues. Number one, like, was the bottom end getting very tight. Turns out, on these Fordsons, there's 3 different size bolts for the mains. Well, the literature I found said there's 3 different sizes. Being that this is essentially last generation engine, I thought, sweet, go the biggest size, which was 120 foot-pounds. It's not 120 foot-pounds. It's supposed to be 95 to 100, I think, or something around that. So, when you use the correct torque settings, it's still quite a firm engine to turn over, but it's going to be, because it's all fresh and it's at perfect specifications. So yeah, that solved that issue. The next issue was it number 2 or number 1 rod cap? I can't remember now. I think it was number 1. Anyway, where the shell wasn't fitting perfectly in there. So while I had the crank out, I thought, well, I'll sit the shell, like the cap and the rod with all the shells, I'll sit them in there together and have a good look at it. And it seems to be the way that one's machined is a little bit funky. So there must be, one shell must be a little bit big for one side and one shell must be essentially like a little bit small for the other side. Because you can tighten the cap up and they all are perfect. Except the join, I suppose, on one side isn't quite where the join in the cap is, but that's really irrelevant. It doesn't matter. I did have a suspicion about that, but when you're trying to look at the, just rock the shell in the rod down in the engine, it looked like it was good, but we're not talking a great deal of, difference there. So I dropped the cap on and pinched them up a little bit, and I expected there to be a gap, but there was no gap, and it's fine. So, oh well, that doesn't matter. It's fixed. So now, yeah, I've done a few rotations of the engine. It is a bit snug still, like when you let it sit for a good hour and then you try and roll it over, you sort of have to give it a bit of a jar and then it'll roll over nicely. But it also depends on where the rods are. Sometimes it'll roll over quite smooth straight away. So I think it's just because it's all really snug. It also has like moly assembly lube in there, which at 7 degrees is very, very thick. So that probably doesn't help. So yeah, I've got to do a bit of clean up on the sump, as long as the rain stays away. So this isn't the sump off it. This is another one I've had. But as you can see, it's lived outside for a number of years. So I'll get to work while I wheel all these surfaces, clean it up as best as I can. I'm not going to go super duper over the top, like fully bee blast sort of thing. Yeah, I'll just get it pretty clean and go from there, sort of thing. Yes. What else do I have to tell you? Yes, there is other stuff on the go, but I'm not going to say too much about that until it's all sorted. We're using a new microphone. Bought a wireless microphone, so now you can hear me when I'm wandering around and don't have to deal with the sound dropping right out. Because I know that annoyed the hell out of me watching other people's videos, so I assume it annoys the hell out of you guys too. So yes, we have one of those, what is it, Rode brand wireless little microphone jiggers. It seems to work. This is the first video I've done with it, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's about it. Well, I better get to cleaning up some parts, and hopefully we might get this sump back on today so we can do the whole flipperoo and have a right way up and start doing some other bits and pieces. Alright, I'll bring you guys back in a sec. Alright, I'm getting there, but yeah, so it's all starting to clean up. But what I was actually bringing you back for is, remember that hill you could see? Oh, here comes the rain. That's what that's what it's like. It just rolls in, you can see it coming. So, I don't know, I might pick up again or I might just call it quits for today. It's, about 2:33. There is time left in the day, but I'm just getting sick of this. Hey guys, how's it going? We are back again. It's a different day. Still got the fire pot going because it's not real warm, but it's sunny. That's a bonus. Yeah, we got our sump over here. I've been doing some cleaning up on it. That sump's going to be in the way, but at least you might. It's not amazing. Like, I can't really get in here very well, and yeah, it's not perfect. Someone put some white, like just some overspray white paint on it, and that stuff is so hard to get off. So hopefully it doesn't react with the new paint, but it is what it is. I need to get this sump back on here, so I might do a bit more cleaning up with it on the actual tractor. Well, on the engine, not so much the tractor, but what else? I think it's that bolt on the other side is snapped, so I need to extract that at some point. But it's as good as it's going to get. Like, beggars can't be choosers. I've got to get this thing back together. So, yeah. Alright, so. Alrighty. Now, get some sealer. Make sure I got the right one. I got a tube of dielectric grease, same brand. The tube looks nearly exactly the same. I haven't put dielectric grease on anything in the place of gasket sealer, but I'm sure it'll be one day I'll do it. So we'll just a little bit of insurance on this thing. Just a little sniff. Nothing too major. It does have a gasket. This is just insurance. So I guarantee you, if you didn't put any on here, it'll leak. And it'd probably leak a lot. Hopefully I'm not blocking your view too much. I'll probably edit some of this out anyway. I thought, well, I'll just film the lot and just size it down a bit as I go. This is very thin, this stuff. I'm not that I don't really like this stuff that much, but it works. It's just very, very thin. Don't really need anything out there, but seeing as we're doing the rest, we'll put a little bit out there anyway. Oh, right. So, I put the rope seals in. Now there's a little bit of stick out on the back, so I've trimmed the sump up flush, so that should get us just a little bit of squash. So it should not leak, maybe, hopefully. Yeah, I'm not real confident with those rope type seals, but the one in the power major, that seems to be holding out okay. So yeah, see how it goes. This motor's definitely going to be test run before it ends up in the tractor. So if it's horrific, well, we can fix it then. Really don't need any out here, but oh well. If we're doing the rest of it, might as well. Around there. Oh, it'd be nice if this was up a bit higher. She's a little bit on the low side for my liking. Which one's this? This is the bottom side. Now I'll put a little bit on the ends where it's hard to get to before I put it in, or on, I should say. Try not to get it all over myself. I'm good at that. Looks alright. Alright, I'll probably bring you guys back when I'm about to put the sump on, because I don't think you want to see all this. Alright. Oh, that thing is awfully heavy. I don't know, actually, can you see that, son? Oh, yeah, just. Alright, good. Oh. Now, as some of you who've done this before may have noticed, I haven't put the seal in for the front there. Because we don't have a front plate on, we can sit this on. Maybe put 2 bolts in the back to keep it square, and then we can insert this from the front, because this obviously doesn't want to, you know, lay flat, or, and they're a bit of a pain. I've seen a few people clamp them in place with a bit of sealer and let them set to glue them where you need to be. But now I did this last time and it worked. So, all right. Here goes everything. You're either going to see this go on or see me do a bit of an injury to myself. Oh. What are we sitting on? No. There we go. Oh, that's heavy. Holy dooly. Whew. That's a heavy little sucker. Alright, now have some bolts over here. They're just in some solvent to clean them up a little bit. Grab 2 of them. The rear crank seal should align it, so it shouldn't really matter, but this at least might keep it a bit more lined up. I've got these little, what are they called, podgy bars at work. Need some of them here. They're a bloody good little thing. They're just like a pointy bar that you can use to manipulate things. Get in there. Alright, we'll try a different hole then. Alright, this is going to take a bit of fiddling. I'll bring you guys back in a sec. Alright, I'm on the phone now because the GoPro just decided to chew one battery in, I don't know, 5 minutes for some reason. The only battery I had at the time, so we're on the phone. So Sump is on. You can see I've inserted the little cork, I suppose seal, whatever you want to call it. So next is the front cover. So it pushes that cork, you know, in as far as it needs to be, and then we'll tighten the sump down, and that'll be about it for today. I won't really be able to video a lot of it, but I'll get it sorted, and yeah, I'll bring you back once I've got something to show, because yeah, seal is setting and I've got to get stuck into it, so I'll bring you guys back in a sec. Alright, we're back again. That took a bit of work. But we are all back, well, essentially together. These bolts will have to be torqued, you know. I'll just tighten them up to seat everything and let the sealer go off. I realised I was missing this bolt and this bolt. So I ran out to the parts engine and, yeah, swiped them out of that. Luckily, so, yeah, that should all be seated nicely and shouldn't cause me any problems. I do have a bit of an issue, though. The sump went on, it turns, that's all good. But you can hear, I think it's number 3 big end, the one that goes close to the pickup pipe, which is about, you know, here. You can hear it just touching the pickup pipe. So I think I pulled the sump plug out and looked down there, and you can see the pipe. So I'm gonna sort of devise a method of dropping like a hook down there, hooking onto the pipe and giving it a bit of a tweak. I tweaked it slightly before I put the sump on, just because it was the same thing, it was touching just slightly. But obviously the feng shui on it's not quite right, and when the screen is pushed down, as it should, it does obviously push that pipe just a little bit back to where it was. It doesn't stop it from rotating, you just hear it just brush against it. And that's fine, but it'll wear a hole in it, and then we'll be in big trouble. So yes, that's never good. So I think I can fix that without pulling the sump back off. Probably should have done a dry run with the sump, but yeah, you know, I need to get it together. So that shouldn't be a big drama. It's obviously needs to have a bit of a, instead of, you know, bending up that way, as I obviously have, it obviously needs a bit of a whoop in it, so it clears that rod, but that should be fine. I'll get a big thick bit of rod down in there with just a 90 degree on the end of it and hook onto it and give it a bit of a pull, and it should just bend it slightly. Yeah, I was going to flip it over and start looking at cylinder head, but not today. It's going on for, I think it's a bit after 4. So the daylight will be short-lived. And seeing as I've got to do that, I sort of need to work something out or prepare a couple of things to be able to do that. I've got a special bent screwdriver sitting at work that well, actually, it's supposed to be for pushing pistons out of Subaru Boxer engines. But it's a screwdriver with a bend in the end of it, like quite a big one. So that might come in handy. I might bring that up and I'll work out a plan B. Well, I don't know what it is yet, but I'll work out a plan B as well. And yeah, we'll get that sorted. But yeah, that shouldn't be too much of a hiccup, hopefully. I'll give this a bit of a spray down. I bought some stuff to... Actually, I'll show you. I didn't spray it down with originally. I should have done, but I was being lazy. I don't know if I've showed you this stuff or not. It's a flash rust preventer. I've heard good things about it. Apparently, you just spray it on with an atomizer, just a standard old squirty bottle. It looks like water. It doesn't really have much of a smell to it. Ooh, you tripped over on the bloody getting out of the container. Yeah, it doesn't have much of a smell to it. Just weird. I don't know what it is. But yeah, you can just spray it on there and it just prevents rust. I should have sprayed this down ages ago, but it wasn't really rusting until about 2 weeks ago. Well, as you saw in that bottle, there was moisture on it, like the humidity's just gone right up. So, yeah, sort of had to scramble, and I sprayed the head down, I sprayed the block, I'll spray the sump down and, that around that front cover before I go. And yeah, see how it looks. Apparently you don't even have to wash it off. You can spray it on there and it's supposed to last for 3 months. People have had it last a lot longer, but that's what they claim. I think it's 3 months. As long as it's inside. Of course, it's not going to work outside, but yeah, so that, that seems to be working so far. It did, you can see we started to get a little bit of rust there, and it doesn't seem to have progressed at all. So we'll see how it goes. That's all I can do. Alright, that'll probably be it for this one. I'll take the GoPro home and charge the bloody thing up and see what's going on with it, and back for more fun and games next time. Alright, you have fun, all you, and like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.